Hi, brothers and sisters, wonderful African people, wherever you are. Just want to welcome you back again to Holistic African Spirituality. And I just felt I needed to start like a new series on telling true stories, spiritual stories that I have heard, and this is after I shared the story of the family, and in line with the topic that I addressed on Christianity destroying Africans. And I want to talk about a female that I know, a lady that I know who had a road collision. She hit a tree, and she didn't make it to the hospital. She passed on. But that wasn't the issue that triggered my thinking, or triggered a lot of questions. It's what I was told, the circumstances that led to her hitting the tree and passing on. She didn't make it, or she just made it to the hospital, and she passed on. She passed away. Now, when she hit, look at the scenario. She was driving in sort of rural Africa. She's driving, and she was driving at sort of midday, right? And she hit this tree head on, to the point that it destroyed her chest. Literally, she had a lot of internal injuries. But just before she transitioned, a lot of people came to help her. And they were asking what had happened, because on a clear road, it was strange that the only thing that she hit was a tree on a very clear road. It's a clear day. It's midday. It wasn't raining. It wasn't dark. It was a wonderful day. And so people are questioning. They're like, "What happened? Did your car malfunction? What happened?" And that's when she told people, the rescuers. She told them, "I was driving, and as I was driving, I saw several cows pass from this side going to the other side, because both sides were she was passing through farmland, right? And so she was like, oh, there were cows coming from that side, and so I braked very hard to avoid them, and that's when, unfortunately, as I braked and steered away from the cows, I hit the tree." And people are like, "Sorry, can you repeat that again, please?" So she told them the same story, the story of the cows. Now, the interesting thing is, everyone who had that story was shocked, and the reason why they were shocked is because there were no cows there. No one in that area had cows. No one owned cows where she was. And as they looked around, literally after some few seconds or minutes after the accident, no one saw any cow. And they're like, "Are you sure?" "Oh, yeah. She was adamant. She was like, yeah, I did see the cows were coming from this side, and I was going this way, and I had to brake so hard and just went and hit the tree and stuff." And when I heard the story, when someone very close to me told me the story, I was like, because it's someone that we knew, someone that was, the people around had the story, and people are talking about it. They're like, there's something wrong here. Of course, there's something wrong. And so that's how she died. Now, this is not an isolated case. It's not. People have seen things that do not exist, and it's when death is calling them. And I do not understand. I do not know the circumstances, or I don't know how she lived her life. I don't know. I can't tell. people have their own private lives and have their own private things they do. But that was a clear case of something very deep spiritually. It was a very deep spiritual thing that happened there, where whoever was involved with her sent these beings that looked like cows at the very point where there was this huge tree. Because you have to, it had to be precise. The cows were sent to her close to that tree so that she could hit the tree that will cause her demise, right? And that's what happened. Was she a Christian? You bet. Yeah, she was. She was a Christian, a very good Christian, and never missed Sunday service and stuff of that nature. She was also in the Mothers Union and stuff, and I keep telling, and I'll keep telling Africans, because this is, I would say, my calling. I'm called by my ancestors to speak this truth, right? When we demonize our spirituality and take upon ourselves the spirituality of others, we become naked. Anything and everything can happen to us because we've taken down our shield, our protection. When you have an armor, when you have when you go to war without an armor, without weapons, without any protection, without any supplies, you are gone, right? You're finished even before you started that war. And that's what happens. Our spirituality as Africans is everything to us. It's everything to you. If you demonize your spirituality, you're literally putting down all your protection, all your guidance, all your help, everything. You're putting it down. And others with that knowledge, right? Others with that knowledge, because not all, I'm not here to tell you that all Africans, that all black people, all Africans are using their spiritual knowledge in the right way. No. There are some who have decided to use their spiritual powers or their spiritual knowledge to destroy lives. And usually they do that by making it a business. And there are many who've opened businesses. They want to make money, right? They want to make as much money as they can, and so they use their knowledge, which has been passed on from generations to generations through their families, and they want to use that knowledge to destroy lives. And if you're caught up in that, and you do not have the protection that you need, things will be disastrous for you. I have my own story. I have many stories. But I have a story where there was someone called me asking for forgiveness because they wanted certain things from me. And so this guy and the wife decided they decided to take my photo, because that's what they do. They use photos and your image or something, and they want to do some things that are done in there. And so they decided to take my photo and go and do some spiritual stuff. So they went to this guy and they spoke to him and they told him what they wanted, and so they're like, okay, do you have his photo? And they're like, yeah. And so they knelt down and he was doing some things in this this altar place that he had, some altar, and he put some clothes on them with some colors, and he was doing his rituals. Then came time to bring my photo, so they had my photo with them and then gave it to him, and he started screaming. He literally started screaming, and he said, no. Is this person that you want such and such a thing from him? And they said yes. And you want me to perform this and to give you, yes, what they do, like some things you can't talk about, you can't really say them here, but there's what they do, right? And the guy said, this is impossible, this guy is untouchable. And he told him, looking at my photo, he said, can't you see it? They're like, what? So they're looking at the photo, and the guy said, can't you see it? And they're like, no, we just see. No, there's a ball of fire surrounding him. There's a ball of fire. There's a ring of fire surrounding him. And there's no way anyone can penetrate that ring of fire and get to him. They're like, what? Yeah. There's nothing anyone can do. Now, I didn't know this. I was just doing my own things, living life, doing my stuff, and I got this call on a Sunday afternoon. Now, listen, the guys who did this are born again Christians. No, they're born again Christian. You ask yourself, what are they going to do to this spiritualist, right? This spiritualist, this priest of darkness, because this is what the guy had chosen. He had chosen to do, and they paid him, right? Because they do these things, and they have this knowledge, and they want to cause people to behave in a certain way, and that's what they do. And it's there, whether I tell people whether you believe it or not. You don't have to, but it's there. It's not a matter of believing this or believing that. So these are born again Christian. Ask yourself, what were they doing there? Again, it comes down to Christians know this, that there is no power in what they involve themselves, especially Africans. I'm talking about other races. I'm talking about black people, the melanated people, the Africans. That's what I'm talking about. So he called me in tears. He was like, I'm asking for forgiveness, because they were told if that guy doesn't forgive you, certain things might happen to you. So they called me, So he called me, and I spoke to him, and it was like, I need to talk to you. And I was going, actually, one of my friends was taking us somewhere for lunch. And so we're like, no, you call me later. And he kept calling, and it was like, I really need to talk to you. Then I was like, okay, when I get home, I'll call you. So doing my things that day finished, that's when I called him later on in the day, and he told me the story, what he and the wife had done. Now, what could have happened to me if I didn't have that ring of fire around me? And this is not the first person to tell me that. I've been told that by almost all races that I've met. The spiritual guys. There are people who've stopped me on the streets, and they've told me, oh my God, I can see this I can see this around you. There's this fire that goes round you. And they tell me that thinking that I don't know. I'm like, I know about it. Oh, okay, have a good day. I've been told this by blacks, by Asians, by whites. I've been told this by different people, because spiritual people see certain things, because this is a gift, right? You have these gifts from your ancestors, they give you. What if I didn't have that? What if I didn't have that, and that's why, for me, being in a Christian minister, an ordained minister, and coming out of Christianity, I look back and I'm like, I was sent there by my ancestors to study, to learn, to know what so that when I'm talking about things, I won't just be shouting or saying things that don't make sense, but actually I'll have a point of reference because I've experienced it. So if I were to see, and I've seen things driving, because a lot of people crash and when they're asked what happened, they say, oh, I saw this, I saw a woman, or I saw an animal, or I saw something, and there are things that you see, but if you are not spiritually awake, that could end up very, very badly for you or for the people or for people around you. So you need to be awake. I tell people it's not it's not a laughing matter, it's not a joke. As an African, it is no joke. You cannot joke with it. So this poor lady, definitely some people maybe in the family, or it could be the husband. Maybe the husband wanted to marry someone else or whatever, and I don't know what happened. It could be something that they did as a family, and they transgressed, they really hurt other people, and they did what they did. So it's these things are real. Spirituality is there. It's something that is real. And if you want the evidence, it's Christianity. Let's look at Christianity. People throng, they go to churches every now and again, every Sunday, every week. They do that because what do they need? They're promised spiritual power. The Holy Spirit will come in you and on you, and you'll be filled with the Holy Spirit, and you'll be able to do this and that and that. Spiritual power. That's what drives people. You pray for people, you'll be prayed and you fall down, and you'll be filled with these tongues, and you'll be speaking in tongues, and you're doing this spiritual power. But the only issue with that side of things is it's based on beliefs. You need to believe that that's what's happening, or that will happen. But as an African, it's not going to work for you, because you're well beyond that. Like the powers or the spiritual, what Christianity talks of as spirituality compared to African spirituality, it's child's play, right? And if you're caught up in that, it's very, very easy for people to control you left, right, and center, and to do anything. As I said, why? Because your spirituality is your everything, is your protection. African spirituality is your protection as an African. It's what guides you, it's what protects you, it's what keeps you awake, it's what leads you. It's your everything. So you put it aside and demonize it, and you choose the lesser form of spirituality that is, it's child's play, and you start messing about with it. What happens? Disaster. So what are we talking about, brothers and sisters? What are you saying? I felt I needed to share that with people. These two sides. This lady who saw these cows, and everyone who was there was like, in fact, there are no cows there, and they said there's no way that the cows will have moved from that place to that place, because this whole place is fenced. She was like, what? But I saw them in front of me. They're like, no. There were no cows. These are beings that were sent to her, and they were sent to her to take her life. Right? So I encourage brothers and sisters, for wherever they are, whoever, as an African, wherever you are, and you know that you're endowed with this knowledge, that you should use this knowledge. You should use these gifts to bring forth life. And I'll be sharing stories. I'll be sharing real life stories in order to encourage you, in order for you to know that that there is life, right? There is life. There's life after Christianity, and to know that. And I tell people, do not be caught up in that. Let your ancestors guide you. Let them protect you. Do not demonize them. And whatever you think is so hard in your life, and with whatever darkness, there is no darkness in front of our ancestors, and there shall never be. There is no pain. There is no rejection. There is no shame. There's none of those things. Thank you once again for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and share. And I'll keep sharing stuff with you to encourage you and to uplift your life, and so that we can uplift each other, and so that we can attain to everything that see, our ancestors had their dreams, they had their goals and objectives for us as a people, as an African people, and we cannot do that whilst holding closely we cannot do that through embracing the spirituality of other people. No, we have to use our own spirituality. Thank you very much. Bye bye.